Hi, I'm Freshta Tori, the author of Courage, My Story of Persecution. I want to begin by thanking Norton Publishing Company as well as Amanda and Dave Eggers for allowing me to be part of this super meaningful project. In this book, as you may already know, I talk a little about my childhood growing up in Afghanistan surrounded by terrorism and growing up as a woman, and that from an ethnic minority. In this book, I explain about how I view the world and why I fight the way I fight, and meaningful events in my life that helped me realize what human rights are and why we need to save that and why we need to fight violence and persecution and oppression in every form. When I was a little girl, I was very, very afraid of exposing and disclosing my identity. I remember going to school, my parents would always say, don't tell them that you're Hazara because they're going to kick you and hit you and they will fail you intentionally in class. And so those were, everything that I was hearing, I was internalizing those and I was using them to protect myself. But then one day I realized as I was, growing up and entering my teenage years that I was tired of hiding my identity. I had done absolutely nothing wrong. It wasn't a crime for me to be born Hazara. It made me question a lot around me. It made me question the Afghan government, the Afghan legal system, justice, and human rights, and these officials who had promised the people to do their duty, that we would be able to live freely, get an education freely, but none of that was happening. And especially for Hazaras, we were barred from everything. For example, in our history books in the Afghan education system, I remember every history page I would turn to, it would say so much about the Pashtuns and the Tajiks and the Uzbeks. And the only thing it would really ever cover about Hazaras were that we had always been slaves, that we are so inferior, we're biologically inferior, and that basically we don't really have the rights to exist. Growing up with these experiences taught me that stories are very important, especially stories like this, where the world doesn't know about what's actually happening. When authority fails us, what do we do when duty calls us? And for me, that has been the mission that I am on. This has meant the fighting for my father, fighting the fight for my mother, fighting the fight for my friends who got shot and lost their lives, for really just wanting to bring development to a country that has been sick of warfare, of foreign invasion. I hope that you learn a lot about Hazara history and that you are able to contribute to help us regain our status, our voices, and who we are as the Hazara population. Thank you.